Hello and good evening, everyone, and a happy new year to all of you. Student, today we are going to start with a session which is brought to you by Shiksha.com and Kogod School of Business, American University, USA. Student, today's session is about the graduate programs that are being offered by the Kogod School of Business under American University to all international students. And before we start the session, I would like to introduce our presenter from the university. So we have Miss Lisa Francis. She is the Director for Graduate Admissions at Kogod School of Business at the university, and she will be doing the presentation for all of you. Student, an important note for all of you, if you have questions that you want to ask her, I will request you to please post your questions in the question section. We will take all the questions at the end of the session. If you wish to ask questions directly to her, please click on the raise hand tab. I will unmute you and you can ask your questions directly to her. I will now request Lisa to please start with this session. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. It is really such an honor to be talking to our partners here at Shiksha. We have a great relationship with the organization, and we're really looking forward to sharing a little bit more about our program with you. So good evening, everybody. It's good morning on this end. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning here in DC. But I hope that everybody is having a very happy new year and you're continuing to stay safe and healthy. My name is Lisa Francis. I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions here at American University's Kogod School of Business. We're in Washington, D.C., as I mentioned. And I'm excited to talk to you today about building a graduate school application. Our presentation today will take, I'd say, about 20 to 25 minutes. I want to be sure that we spend, or at least allow enough time for questions that you may have at the end of our presentation. But what we will do is take a walk through the graduate programs that we offer, and then, of course, the components that are necessary to put together an application to our program. We'll also talk a little bit more about deadlines that you can keep in mind, and then, of course, scholarship information. Scholarship is usually a pretty common question that we get, so we want to be sure that we address that today. And then, of course, we'll save time for questions at the end. Before we jump in, I want to let everybody know that, just for the question and answer session, this might be helpful to know that in addition to working full-time here on the admissions team, I was also a student in our MBA program. I just graduated from the MBA in December, so just a few weeks ago. So I'm so happy to answer any questions that you might have with my former student hat on. As an alumna of the program, I'm so happy to share a little bit more and answer any questions on that end. But let's go ahead and jump right in and talk a little bit more about building a graduate school application. So you'll see here the Kogod School of Business. We're Washington, D.C.'s oldest business school. We were founded in 1955. And this is our menu board, so to speak, of graduate programs that we offer here at Kogod. Not only do we offer both a full-time MBA and an online MBA, but we also have various master's degrees, including programs in accounting, analytics, finance. We have one in marketing, real estate, sustainability management has become increasingly popular, taxation. These are the programs that you could potentially find yourself in here at Kogod. As a student in the MBA program, that program is a 2-year full-time degree. In the second year of the program, you have quite a bit of room for elective credit. And so the reason I think it's helpful to share all of these other programs with you is because as an MBA student, you might have the opportunity to take electives in, say, the finance department, or say the taxation department, or real estate, or sustainability management. Each of our graduate programs also has elective credits built into them. So if you are perhaps in the marketing program and maybe want to take an analytics elective, you could certainly do that. But this is what our curriculum and our program offerings look like here at Kogod. So why Kogod? Why American University? There are so many reasons why I think you should consider at least applying and studying with us. One, we are a small business school. I'd say American University is a medium-sized institution, but we are a smaller business school within that medium-sized institution. The average class size is about 30 students, and that's purposely done. We really want our students to have that intimate classroom environment where you are getting to know not only your faculty, but building strong relationships with your fellow students. So very, very tight-knit, supportive community on that end. Experiential learning is really at the heart of everything that we do here at Kogod. We put our students in a situation where they're learning by doing, where they are potentially working with real companies or real data or real company information in order to sort of use that toolkit that they've built while they're in the program. That looks different across each program that we offer. A notable way is, for example, in our MBA program, our students complete a global consulting project where they are put into small groups and partnered with a company that's based overseas. And then at the end of the semester, they travel to that country to share their recommendations for that company that they've been working with. So just a great example of what experiential learning looks like here at Kogod and some opportunities that you could have here. Our Office of Career Engagement. This is our career center here in the business school. There is a designated career coach for both MBA and for our Masters of Science students. We want our students to have a strong career experience, so we offer a number of services within that career center. There are group coaching programs that you can enroll in. For example, if you have a particular career path that you're looking to pursue, like consulting or finance or marketing, you can join a group that meets to discuss career opportunities in that particular field, or you can have individual career coaching appointments. There's also technology resources that you have at your fingertips to take advantage of, a resume reader that uses AI to determine sort of the sophistication of your resume or how effective it is. Just a number of services that are available to you in the Office of Career Engagement as a student. Our Center for Business Communications, I think that this is a really unique spot here on campus. Our Center for Business Communications is a great center in that they are working with you on the more professional development side of your business school experience. So they're teaching you how to put together an effective presentation, how to be a strong public speaker, how to write a good business memo. All of those sort of tasks or how-tos rather are really covered in the Center for Business Communications. You have the opportunity to join student clubs and organizations similar to the way that you would have as an undergraduate student. You can join the AU Consulting Club, or if you have an interest in sports and want to join club tennis, that's certainly an option that you have too. Campus is an arboretum. I hope that you have the opportunity to come and see us here in person. You will notice that sustainability truly is a top priority here at Kogod. We're really pleased with the fact that the university had a goal to become carbon neutral by year 2020, and we did so by 2018. So something that we're very, very proud of here at Kogod. We're accessible to downtown DC by public transit. So we're in the northwest corner of Washington DC itself. So if you want to make it downtown, you just hop on the metro. You're there within 20 minutes, and you can be close to the White House, the Capitol, all of the different monuments that you think of, or different organizations that you think of when you think of Washington, D.C. Our community is very active, very involved and inclusive. We have a diverse student body across the university with students joining us from 130 countries and, of course, all 50 states here. This is our typical class profile amongst all of our graduate programs that we offer here at Kogod. So this is an aggregation of all of them and those typical profiles. You can see we're highly international. In fact, this year that actually crept up a little bit from the 32%, and we're just under half female representation. So we're so proud of that we have such a diverse class, and that folks are learning from each other in a meaningful way. Well, you'll see the GPA here, 3.18, that's converted to the American scale on a 4.0 scale. That is not a required GPA by any means. You do not have to have a 3.18 GPA. An average is an average. There are students that have fallen below that and fallen above that. But this is just to give you a picture as to what our students typically look like there. So now that we talked a little bit more about the programs that we offer, let's pivot a little bit and talk about applying for admission, what we're asking for from you as you're putting together your application for the program. This is typically where we get quite a few questions, and we will be sure to spend time answering all the questions that you have at the end of our presentation today. So definitely be sure to keep sending those in, and we will be sure to read those at the end of our time together. Application checklist. These are all of the materials that we ask for from you as you're putting together your application. So we'll go through each item one by one. The first item that we ask for is the online application. So our application is completely digital. It's available at the link here on our screen. In follow-up to this presentation, you will receive an application fee waiver code via email. It's worth $100, and it's our way of saying thank you so much for coming out today and for joining this presentation. In that email, it will include the link to apply. So if you want to go ahead and copy this down, you certainly can, but this will also hit your inbox as well. Personal statement. So we ask for a personal statement of 750 words. It's our way of getting to know you, who you are, what you're looking for, what you're looking to do next, how you expect that this program will help you in the next steps of your career. All of that is included in the personal statement. I think that the best piece of advice that I can give for the personal statement is to keep authenticity in mind. We want students to be their open and honest selves, because at the end of the day, you're looking for a fit from us as much as we're looking for a fit from you. So that personal statement is a really good way to be to demonstrate your interest in the program and how you expect that it will help you moving forward. Next, we ask for a valid GMAT or GRE score. All applicants are encouraged to submit a test score for our programs. The only program that really does require the test score is the MS in Finance program. If you're looking to apply to our finance program, there's a high likelihood we will ask you for a GMAT or a GRE. There are waivers available, but for all intents and purposes, the finance program does require the GMAT or the GRE. A supplemental essay may be provided in lieu of a test score for our other programs. So in the event, say for the MBA program, you choose not to submit a GMAT or a GRE, you are welcome to go ahead and submit a supplemental essay, the prompt of which is available in the application itself. Next, we ask for a current resume. This is the same type of resume that you would use to apply to a new job or to a new opportunity. The current resume is will, of course, list your professional experience. The common follow-up question that we get to the resume is work experience required for your programs? The answer is yes and no. So for our MBA program, our full-time MBA program, we ask for at least 1 year of full-time work experience prior to entering the program. Typically, you become a more competitive applicant once you've had upwards of 3 to 4 years of work experience. So something to keep in mind there, that the MBA program is for folks that have a little bit more work experience underneath their belt. Our Masters of Science program, so our accounting, our finance, our marketing, our sustainability, those programs, there's no work experience required. Next, we ask for 1 letter of recommendation, and that's for each program. So ideally, a professional letter of recommendation from a current or former supervisor. That's a really good idea there. If you're joining us directly from undergrad, an academic reference could suffice. But again, if you happen to have a professional letter of recommendation, that could be your best fit. Next, we ask for transcripts from all universities attended. This is, of course, your undergraduate transcript, and then if you happen to have another graduate degree, we'd like to see that transcript as well. I encourage you to reference our website for specific transcript submission procedures. For all intents and purposes, we're happy to accept an unofficial copy of your transcript for the purposes of application review, but it's a good idea to reference our website just to ensure that you are submitting your transcript appropriately. Next, we ask for an interview for 2 of our programs, both our marketing program, our MS in Marketing, and then our full-time MBA. This is to just ensure that we have a good fit on either side. The marketing program, you will interview with a faculty member upon applying, and then the MBA program, if you're invited to an interview, you will interview with a member of the admissions team. Next, we ask for valid English language proficiency scores. So you have 3 options here of which one to include. We ask for a minimum of a 100 on the TOEFL, a 7 on the IELTS, or 120 on the Duolingo. So 3 options here to satisfy this requirement. And then finally, an optional essay. This is exactly how it sounds. It's completely optional. If you feel that there is a part of your application that maybe needs a little bit more explanation or understanding, the optional essay is a really good opportunity to take advantage of. Common ways that people have used the optional essay in the past include if perhaps they had a poor semester as an undergraduate student, or maybe there's a gap in your resume for one reason or another. We'd love to understand what the story may have been or what the situation may have been, and we're happy to take that into consideration when determining admission status. These are our application deadlines for the fall 2022 semester, which is our next intake term. January 15th, as you can see, is our priority scholarship deadline. It's coming up. We'd love to see your application for that. So definitely keep an eye out for that. You certainly do have some time to pull together your application there. January 15th, like I said, is the next deadline. March 15th, 2022, so in just a couple of months, is our final deadline for students that require a visa. So definitely keep this in mind as well. This is a really good deadline to just circle on your calendar in big bold letters. The reason why it is so far ahead of an August of the August start of classes is because we want to ensure that there's enough time for you to process your visa and acquire a visa appointment and take care of everything on that end. So that's why that application deadline is a little on the early side. And then the final deadline, if we happen to have any domestic students on the line today, is May 15th, 2022. I want to highlight that each program that we offer does have a fall entry term. There are a number of programs, the 4 that you see on the bottom of the screen, that do have spring intake. Spring intake is done for this year, but if you're looking ahead to spring 2023, these 4 programs do have a spring intake term. Tuition and fees. So our tuition is structured by credit. So each program has a credit value. Most of all of our MS programs, our Masters of Science programs, are 30 or 33 credits. They vary, 30 to 33 credits. Our MS accounting program can go up to 37.5 credits. So depending on the credit value of your program will dictate the total tuition of the program. So it's $1,812 per credit hour. Our MBA program is a 49 credit program. So just to keep in mind as you're investigating a little bit more about our programs and what the cost could be. Depending on your student status, of which if you are a student joining us from overseas, you are asked to complete our programs at a full-time pace, given that is typically the stipulation of an F1 visa. So I'd like to direct your attention to the middle column here. That is a full-time student fee structure that you'll be assessed in as a student each semester. So a graduate activity fee, a technology fee, a sports center fee, and then a Metro U Pass fee, which if there was such a thing, it's a great fee. It's $136 to be able to use the Metro in the DC area at an unlimited capacity. DC is an incredibly walkable city. In fact, you don't need a car. I don't have one, and I live in downtown Washington. So it's a place that you can get around on foot, using the bus, using the Metro, very accessible and very livable city. So just a nice perk that is built into your student fees there. And then, of course, depending on the program that you choose to enroll in the event that you are admitted, we will ask for a tuition deposit that is $500 for our Masters of Science programs, and then $100 for our, $1,000 for our MBA program. Scholarships. Each applicant to our program is automatically considered for scholarship. For merit-based scholarship, we will let you know of any award that you've been given at the time of admission. So simply select that you wish to be considered for scholarship, and we will consider you for that again at the time of admission. It is based on a holistic review of your application. I know that the word holistic is used a lot in admission circles, but it really is based on a holistic review. We're taking a look at everything from your resume to your transcript to any test scores that you may have submitted to us to determine what your scholarship value will look like. It is not based on financial need, and then additional resources are available through the AU's financial aid office. They can point you to any need-based opportunities that you may have. This is a variety of ways to get in touch with us moving forward. We are happy to connect with you offline. We have faculty program director chats. If you wish to learn a little bit more about a program and talk to the faculty program director, you can certainly sign up for those on our website. We also have a class visit program That is currently on pause due to COVID. We're still determining what that will look like for the spring semester, but definitely something to keep in mind if you happen to be in the DC area, perhaps in the fall. Hopefully we might be able to accommodate a class visit. You're welcome to contact a graduate ambassador. These are current students that have raised their hand and have indicated that they are interested in answering any questions or connecting with a prospective student and sharing a little bit more about their experience. So that's a good opportunity to take advantage of. And then, of course, you can email questions to us at kogodgrad@american.edu. That's our general admissions inbox. Definitely be sure to take advantage of that and send us any questions that you may have. And then, of course, apply online. That link is available there on the screen, but again, you'll get that sent to you via email and you can start your application. But thank you so much to all of you for taking the time to join us today. It was really such a pleasure to share a little bit more about our programs with you. I am going to stick around for questions. Do keep in mind that as our way of saying thank you for joining us today, you'll receive an application fee waiver code worth $100, and we will waive that application fee for you, just again as our way of saying thank you so much for coming out and learning a little bit more about Kogod. But with that being said, I'm happy to switch gears and answer any questions that you have. And I turn it over to our moderators.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for the wonderful presentation. And yes, we do have a lot of questions from students. Meanwhile, I'll just reiterate, students, if you wish to ask questions directly to Lisa, please click on the raise hand tab. I will unmute you and you can ask your questions to her directly. I'll start taking questions from the chat box. So this is from Ujjwal Patel, and the student has asked that recently I got 5.5 bands in each modules and overall 5.5. Am I eligible for your business school to take admission?
Yep. So we do not have a minimum GPA or a minimum academic performance criteria in order to be considered for admission. I would say that students become competitive once they've reached the upper second band within their graduating class. But again, there is no minimum GPA or academic performance measure, rather, that is required to be considered for admission.
Okay. Next question is from Kalyan, and the student has asked, is GMAT required to take admission for the program?
So the GMAT is not required for most of our programs. The GMAT/GRE is required for our finance program. For the rest of our programs, we are test optional.
Okay. Okay, moving to next question. This is from Kaustika Ghosh, and the student has asked, in case we are working, how would the letter of recommendation be and who it should be from?
Yeah, ideally from a current or former supervisor is who you would ask to write your letter of recommendation. In the event that you are considering graduate school, you would be joining us full time. You may not have had the conversation yet with your manager about potentially going to graduate school, so perhaps a former manager might be a better fit there. But ideally, a current or former supervisor is your best option for your letter of recommendation.
Okay. I'll move to the live question now. So there's one student who I'm going to unmute, is Harshit Balasubramaniam. Harshit, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. The thing is, actually, I've taken a break and I have a 11-month work ends. Am I eligible to join the full-time MBA program?
So I heard that you mentioned that you have taken a break and you might have 11 months of work experience. If I heard that question correctly, let me know. But we typically ask for at least 1 year, so 12 months of full-time work experience prior to entering the MBA program. Usually, though, applicants become competitive once they've had upwards of around 3 or 4 years of work experience. That's usually when applicants are the most competitive for the MBA program. We look for a handful of years of work experience just to ensure that students are prepared for recruitment opportunities afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was on mute. The next student I'm going to unmute is Fatima Mohammadi. Fatima, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Fatima, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, I am Fatima. I have a question for the MBA program. I have graduated from architecture engineering. Yeah, 4 years bachelor degree. Then can I also apply for MBA?
Yeah, so there is no specific academic requirement or background to apply to the MBA. So if I think that your background sounds great, and we certainly do not require having to have a business background prior to entering into the program. So regardless of what your undergraduate major is, folks are eligible to be considered.
And then about the work experience, what if it is somehow unrelated, irrelevant work experience in different fields and
yeah, still eligible to be considered. I think that for folks that are coming to the MBA program or looking to apply to the MBA program from a non-business background, I think that it's a good idea to, in the personal statement and in the interview, if you're afforded the opportunity to conduct one, to talk a little bit more about why the pivot into the business world, what's really struck you about being in the business space and what has inspired you to try and switch. But no, we certainly welcome applicants from all different backgrounds. We have a pretty rich and diverse class. We've had folks that have joined us from consulting and hospitality and oil and gas and higher ed. So there are nonprofit. There are so many backgrounds that are in the MBA program.
And can I ask also about fees, how much they are?
Yep. So each program has a credit value of which is available on our website. And our tuition is $1,812 per credit. So our MBA program is 49 credits, so 49 times 1,812. And then our MS programs they vary from anywhere from 30 to about 37 and a half credits. So definitely reference our website on that, but tuition is $1,812 per credit.
But do you think if there is any chance for like partial scholarships or something like that?
Yep, so as we talked about in the presentation, each applicant to our program is automatically considered for merit-based scholarship. We will let you know of any award that you've been given at the time of admission. So just by applying to the program, in the event that you're admitted, we will let you know of any award that you've been given from a merit perspective from admissions.
Yeah, and then the most merit is how much, like what percentage? Can you please tell me?
Yep, it depends on the program. So for our MBA program, the range is a bit wider. Anywhere, it really does depend every year. But for our Masters of Science programs, I would say that 10 to 50% is usually what the range looks like for our scholarships.
Yeah, thank you. And then the payment can be set on installments.
You can certainly speak with our Office of Financial Aid on that, but yes, there are various ways to pay your tuition.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much, Fatima, for your question. Moving to next student, I am going to unmute Kalyan Chakravarti. Kalyan, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, my name is Kalyan. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Kalyan, please continue with your question.
Yeah, okay. I have done my master's graduation in finance. It's a correspondence course, distance mode.
Mm-hmm.
So, will that be acceptable for admission to MBA?
Yeah, so there is no specific academic fields that is required to have studied prior to entering into the MBA program. As long as you have a bachelor's degree, you are eligible to be considered.
Okay, fine. Can I know a little bit about the placements for MBA?
Yeah, so happy to. I think that to really talk about placements, I definitely encourage you to send us an email, kogodgrad@american.edu. It's available. Actually, let me go back a slide if I can. That's our email address. here on the admissions team. Oops, so sorry, it looks like my
Okay.
video went away. So definitely send us an email, kogod@american.edu. We're happy to talk to you about what our Career Center services look like and career afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Kalyan, for your question. Moving to next student, I'm going to unmute Olalekan. Olalekan, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Olalekan, please ask your question. I think there is some connectivity issue. I'll move on to next student. I'm going to unmute Mari Mangwi. Mari, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mari. I would like to ask about the MBA program because I already completed my master's in investment management. So I am asking if I'm still eligible to apply for the MBA program.
Yeah, so we certainly have students that have completed a master's degree prior to entering into the MBA program. So absolutely, just by having another master's degree does not exempt you from pursuing the application to the MBA program. So yeah, we certainly welcome you to apply.
All right, so I can still apply if I get you correctly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much, Mari. And moving to next student, I'm going to unmute Chris Odili. Chris, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Chris, please ask your question. I think another connectivity issue. No problem. Chris has put his question in the question box. So Chris is asking that, can I know the application process that African students can be allowed to apply? Chris is from Africa, so he's asking that how an African student can apply, the process for application.
Same process for everybody. There is no difference in the application process versus domestic, international. The only thing that I would keep in mind is that international students there's going to be a visa process on the back end, and also there could be an English language proficiency requirement depending on the country in which you're joining us from. So something to keep in mind there. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same materials that are required.
Okay. Moving to next question. This is from Adeva, and he's asked that I have 4 backlogs. So how many backlogs are being accepted by the university for the master's program?
Can I ask you to clarify? I'm not familiar with the term. Is it backlogs?
Yeah, backlogs. 4 backlogs.
I'm not familiar with that term. Can I ask you to describe that a little bit further?
So maybe student must have not scored well. So backlog means that student have not scored well, or may have not scored the desired number of the percentage that he was supposed to do. He was supposed to score, and then that is how he is given another chance to give the paper again.
I understand. Thank you for clarifying. We will take a look at the applicant holistically. We are not looking for one specific type of transcript or one specific type of GPA. So we will look at the whole of the applicant in the context of everything that they've submitted to us as part of the application. So I certainly wouldn't let one piece of the application deter you from at least applying.
Moving to next student, I'm going to unmute Kriti Vats. So Kriti, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Kriti, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, hi everyone, good evening. I hope I'm audible. Hi Isa, how are you?
Well, how are you? Thanks.
Okay, I'm still in the process of applying to all the schools and going through the profile and seeing whether I have a good profile to apply the schools or not. So what I wanted to know was, sometimes, people do take career breaks, like getting married, moving to a different city or something like that. So it kind of, it comes as a gap on your resume. So, I mean, what I wanted to know whether, a gap for 1 year or 2 years is actually a very big, factor when you're deciding for applicants for your processes. Because, I mean, it's not always desirable, but yeah, then sometimes there are circumstances that, cannot be controlled. Yeah, so that's why.
Sure. Life happens, and we understand that for sure.
Yes.
I think that in cases like this, it's a good idea to take advantage of the optional essay. The optional essay is a part of the application where you can explain a little bit more about why there may have been a career break. We're certainly happy to take that into consideration when determining admission. But that's exactly why the optional essay is there, because we recognize that, like we've talked about, life happens.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kriti, for your question. Moving to next student, I'm going to unmute Krishna Kumar Sarkar. Krishna, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Krishna, please unmute. Please ask your question. Okay, no problem. The student has posted his question in the question box. So he is asking, do a student needs to submit a bank statement in the documentation as a proof or to apply for the program?
Not to apply. So so in the event that a student from overseas is admitted and chooses to join us here at the university, they will go through the process of acquiring an I-20 to be able to take to the embassy to acquire an F1 visa. At that point in time is when financial documents will become involved. So it is in the event that a student is admitted and ultimately chooses to join us here at the university is when that documentation would be required.
Okay.
So it's later.
There's another common question that has been asked by 2-3 questions regarding the possibility for post-study work permit after the completion of the program. So what are the criteria that need to be fulfilled if a student wants to get the post-study work permit?
Yep. So it is different for every field and for every program. So things that I should definitely highlight is that we offer a number of STEM designated programs here at Kogod. So our full-time MBA program is a STEM designated program, as is our Masters of Science in Analytics, our Masters of Science in Sustainability Management, and then our accounting program has a specialization in analytics track. Those are all STEM designated programs. That looks a little bit different in terms of OPT and OPT extensions. So in terms of employment and what that could look like for you on the back end. So something to keep in mind there for sure as you're searching around for career opportunities and for programs, that we do have some STEM designated programs as well.
Okay, moving to next question. This has been asked by a student regarding the work experience that is required for the MBA program. So, and if it is also required, so the student has asked what is the work experience required for the MBA program, and in case if a student is applying for a master's program, will work experience be considered as a merit in his resume or not, in his application or not?
Yeah, so let me answer the first part of your question first. So work experience is, again, required for the MBA program. Usually applicants are the most competitive at like the 3 to 4 year mark is when they become the most competitive there. And then can I ask you to repeat the second part of your question there? I want to be sure that I answer that.
Yeah, second is that if someone is applying for the master's program, does the work experience give them some benefit in their application?
Yeah, so certainly, as we talked about, that's a benefit and that's a value add, if not a necessity for the MBA program. But for our other Masters of Science program, I think that work experience is great to see. You're certainly not penalized if you don't have it. There are plenty of students that join us directly from their bachelor's degree. But for all intents and purposes, I think that having a little bit of professional work experience underneath your belt is valuable. We like to see the organizations and the types of positions that our students have worked in. So I think that it can certainly help you.
Okay, next question is from Sham, and he's asking that I have 9 years of work experience in uh, public administration department, and I have done my master's in public administration, public services. So if I now want to change my stream to business program, will this be a problem in my will there be questions regarding that, if why I'm now trying to change my career after working for 8 years in the same profile?
I think that you can I think that you could expect that would be a reasonable question that any employer might ask on the back end. You know, at the end of the day, graduate school is designed to help folks that are not only looking to enhance their career, but potentially pivot their career if they wish to do so. But I think that is a reasonable expectation or a reasonable question to expect when going through a recruitment process with an organization after a graduate program. That, you know, what has inspired this shift from a more public administration facing or centric role to something that's a little bit more corporate and a little bit more private sector. So I hope that answered your question and that was helpful there.
Yeah. Next question is regarding the scholarship and the financial aid that that will help. What the first question for scholarship is that what is the eligibility? How a student can be eligible for the scholarship, and second, that how the university can help students in the financial aids.
Yep. So again, each applicant to our program is automatically considered for merit-based scholarship. We will let you know of any award that you've been given at the time of admission. So our office is what's the word that I'm looking for? Our office awards merit scholarship. So we do not know any information related to a student's financial need. Our Office of Financial Aid will work with you on any need-based scholarships. So there are opportunities for potential loans or lenders that you may want to consider working with. But in the event that you're looking to sort of fill the gap for need-based funding, we will refer you to our Office of Financial Aid.
Okay. Next question is regarding once the student has filled up the application on the website, how much time does the university take in replying to the student with the offer letter, or coming back to the student with some answer?
Yeah, so for our MBA program, we conduct that in rounds. So usually for MBA, it's about 6 weeks past the deadline that you applied. So for example, the January 15th deadline, when you apply by then, we'll have a response for you in about 6 weeks or so. For our MS programs, it's a little bit more rolling, even though if you're applying by specific deadlines, we usually try to have a decision for you within 3 weeks. That's usually the aim that we have for our Masters of Science programs.
Moving to next question, which is again a common question from 2-3 students regarding the career prospects, like how the university can help students in their placements and career prospects once they are done with the once they have completed their studies from the university.
Can I ask you to repeat that one more time? The audio cut out for just a moment. I'm so sorry.
So this is again a common question asked by 2-3 students regarding the career prospects like placements. So the students are asking that how the university will help students in their placements, in their career prospects once they are done with the studies.
Yeah, so happy to answer that. So our Office of Career Engagement, as we talked about in the presentation, is there to support our students throughout their career search process. And there are a number of services there everywhere, really ranging from group-based types of services that you can participate in with other students that are interested in the same field. For example, meeting with those students once a week. I participated in that myself when I was a former student in the program. There's individual coaching. We have a career coach for our MBA and of course for our MS programs. And then we have even technology resources. So job boards, and then AI powered platforms that you can feed a resume or a cover letter into to get feedback on. So our career center is there to support you along the way. I think that the best way though that I can really describe the career process model is that students should think about it as a relationship between a player and a coach. That at the end of the day, you're the player in the arena, so to speak, and our Career Center is the coach that is working with you to ensure that you're putting together a strong list of target employers, that you're connecting with alumni. They're there to sort of guide you throughout that process. So hopefully that answered the question there.
Okay, moving to the next question. This is regarding the application fee waiver. Or these students are asking about, the application fee that they need to pay, or if there are any application fee waiver that can be provided to them.
Yep. So as our way of saying thank you, everybody on the line today will receive an application fee waiver code. It's worth $100, so we will waive the application fee for you.
Will I share the application fee waiver code?
Yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to, you're welcome to drop it in the chat. I'm happy to do that too, if that's helpful.
I've just done that, students. I have shared the application fee waiver code in the chat box. So you can use this when you're applying to the when you're submitting your application. Also, Lisa, students are asking if you can share the link for the application web page.
Yep. So I'm not quite sure if I shared that link with you ahead of time. But here I have it. It's on our screen here. It's as you can see it, kogod.american.edu/apply.
I'll just put that also for students. Student, I've shared the link also for the application.
Yep. You're welcome to that link from earlier. I'm so sorry I don't have that pulled up anymore. But yeah, absolutely. You're welcome to share that link to apply. Please do so.
Yes, you can do that. Okay, I'll come to the last question now, and this is regarding the question. This question has been asked by Simran, and the student is asking, Lisa, if you can help me with some information regarding the environment, safety, security, and the life near the university.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a great question. So American University is in a very residential area of Washington, D.C. So the neighbors around the university are families. It's a lot of single family homes, very quiet sort of area of Washington. It feels a little bit more suburban. It's not just directly downtown. So I personally have felt very safe on campus, very quiet, very green, very lush, very much so. So definitely something to keep in mind there. I think, at the end of the day, it is a city and it's always good to be familiar and capable or sort of aware of your surroundings. But American University is in a very residential, very quiet area of campus, of the city rather.
Okay, so with this, we have come to the end of the session, and I would like to thank Lisa for taking out time today and doing this wonderful presentation and such an informative presentation for all of us and for the students, which is really, really helpful for them. Before we end the session, I will request Lisa if you can share some if you can give some guidance to the students who are looking to apply to universities abroad and universities in USA. And currently, if we see the situation is not that great because of the corona, so if there's something that you can tell the students that can really help them for their upcoming intakes when they're planning to apply to universities abroad.
Yeah, so I think, specifically regarding COVID, I think that, as a global community, we're all sort of keeping our fingers crossed that we're headed towards a better situation, if you will. I've been really proud of the way that American University has handled COVID. I think that safety and health has really always been at the center of how the university has chosen to operate. For example, we were online all of the last academic year. This past fall, we were back on campus. We required every student to be vaccinated and every student to wear a mask while in the classroom. This January, while we intend to bring back our classes in person for the rest of the spring semester, this January we're online due to the rise in the Omicron variant. So the university makes decisions with health and safety very much so at the center of it. So we are hopeful and optimistic that, again, we're headed towards the end of it. So we'll continue to hope that we trend in that direction for sure. So I hope that answered your question there.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And student, in case if there are any questions that have been missed by me, don't worry. Your details and your questions will be shared with the university. And if there are any questions that are being missed, you will get answered to them. Also, your details will be shared with Shiksha Counseling team here, and they will be able to help you with your further queries in case you want to, you're applying to apply to the university, and if there are any further questions that you still want to get in touch with the university representative, they will be able to help you with that. So with this, I end the session now, and I hope that everyone is keeping safe, keeping good, and keeping safe themselves. And with this, have a great day ahead, Lisa, and have a great evening ahead to all of the students. And take care. Bye bye. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.